Hi there, this is in response to the video Margaret Thatcher Iron Lady. People always go on about the Falkland War. We went to war with the Argentinians because they invaded, obviously. But the reason why they invaded at the time, one of the big factors in that invasion was we got rid of all our big aircraft carriers and we went to war with aircraft support carriers that being converted to carry jump jets, HMS Hermes and HMS Invincible. And at the time we only had two. We sent half the Royal Navy there, which half of that task force got sunk because we didn't have air superiority. If we would have sent the two big aircraft carriers, we would have knocked everything out of the sky because we had F4 Phantoms. They were just sat in dry dock. So that was half the reason why we went to Falklands, because the Argies invaded. We lost a lot of men, and a lot of ships, a lot of good men. The Royal Marines and Parachute Regiment had to yomp, which is march into battle because the ship carrying all the helicopters got sunk. So it was a proud day. It was proud that we went to war to Falklands, but there was some underlying reasons why we went to Falklands. One, the official reason was because there was British people there who wanted to remain British, so we had to defend them, which is fair enough. It's part of the British Isles, the Falklands, and it's part of British territory, so we had to defend the people there. But another reason was there was a lot of oil there, and there was a lot of gas there, no doubt, and we wanted the oil rights. So that was another reason why. And Margaret Thatcher at the time wasn't doing too well in the opinion polls. And as soon as we won that war, her and her party just topped all the polls because in most countries, if you win a war, you're popular. And so it was quite right that we went to war. We only won the war by the skin of our teeth because our navy was in trouble because we had no air cover. We only had Sea Harriers, which are good, but F4s are better attack aircraft. And actually, at the time, the Americans were going to loan us an aircraft carrier. That's how hard up we were, our navy was, because of the cutbacks. So that was a good thing that she did, but obviously there was a lot of bad things that she did. Like she flooded all the coal mines so they could never be mined again. She closed down all the shipyards. She sold off all the public industry. She sold off everything that was making money, so it went into private hands to make money for the rich, which that's what the Tories do. I don't think the Americans understand our political system. Socialist doesn't mean communist in this country. Like Tony Blair, he took a lot of things out of his ideology from Margaret Thatcher. He was a Tory, but he was Labour. He did a lot of good in the country. He always backed up the US, and it cost him in the end, but he always backed up your country. As for terrorism, as you know, no doubt, we've lived in the UK with terrorism for a long time. In Ireland, they got a lot of support from America, got money and arms from America. So, because they believed in a free Ireland, but they didn't really understand what was going on over Ireland. It's a bit more than the big bad Brits going over there and giving everyone a kicking. There's a bit more to it. There's religion. There's a lot of history, and there's a lot. It's been tainted by a lot of violence and a lot of bigotry and a lot of hate. Violence. You know, you might get a knock on the door and someone just bursts in and shoots your family just because you support the wrong football team or you've gone to the wrong pub. That's how bad Ireland was. And I know this because I've got friends and relations in Ireland, both sides. And if you say the wrong thing in Ireland or walk down the wrong road in Ireland, even today, it's calmed down a lot, you are in trouble. And it's a very, very fragmented society. As for football hooligans, it's all a big laugh, isn't it, to you Americans, until you've lived with it. If you're a family and you want to take your son to a football match and you've got idiots chucking glasses everywhere, ruining a game of football, ruining the only day off you've got just because they want to go out and just beat up people that they don't even know just for supporting a football team. Well, crack on. There was football hooliganism that was more organised, and they didn't attack normal fans. They fought amongst themselves, which if they want to do that, that's up to them. But uh, as as a ex-football player and fan, I'm ashamed of football hooliganism. But there again, I've been abroad with England, and they've backed me up when I've been picked on. So there's good sides and bad sides. But I think you Americans, you, you only see the public face of this country. Like Margaret Thatcher, she was a great world leader, so you all love her because in your eyes she's a Republican. Margaret Thatcher and her family and her political party only look after themselves. They didn't look after anyone else. I agree with this nanny state. It's wrong. You should always look after yourself. But at the end of the day, she did cause a lot of suffering in this country. And but there again, she did a lot of good. I don't. It's, you know, all political parties have got their own agenda, and I wouldn't dream of commenting on Obama. You know, your country, America, has been in trouble financially for a long time. If you look into it, they do get a lot of money from China now. You know, they're in bed with China, which I think most big countries are, because that's where the money is. It's an emerging big economic power. All like we kick communism, we kick this and again. Well, I agree, communism was never going to work. But then again, was there really communism? Because you look at the top communists in the party, they lived like kings, and you look at the bottom communists, they were living in huts, you know, like they didn't have good jobs or anything. And communism was about equal pay, everyone lives the same, which in a society, you're not going to get that because everyone wants to do better than everyone else. Everyone wants the best car that they can afford, a good job, which is okay. I mean, I'm just the same. But it's you want to live here before you comment on it, because we've had to live with Ireland, a lot of British servicemen and a lot of innocent civilians, and there's a lot of so-called terrorists that have suffered. So there you go. 9/11 was an awful thing. It was a shocking thing. A lot of British people, a lot of people around the world died because of it. And it was a day I always remember, and always brings a tear to my eye. I thought it was a shocking day, and I thought it was right that we should support our allies and bringing the people who did it to justice. But you know, you should maybe think before you talk.